Wobble wobble wobble, this is downtown Adrian J with the kicking sounds in London town, and welcome along to Adrian J online. Today I'm going to do a little bit of my BMW. It's slightly different. It's not a how-to, it's a kind of it's not a how-to video, it's kind of I got a problem video. I'm trying to diagnose it. So on my 128 we have a thing called Comfort Access, and it's on a lot of the BMWs it's an option where you use the key fob to not only, and if you look at my video on key fobs, I kind of explain this a little bit, but I don't want to go into it too much. But basically you use the key fob for three things. One, keyless start stop. Two, to get access into the car. Okay. Three, to open close windows and the top remotely. So just as winter struck, I had a couple of problems. One, I had a problem with my windscreen. It cracked, and this is relevant because I'm going to talk to you about it a little bit later on. But the windscreen cracked and I had to have it replaced. Unfortunately, a big mistake I made. I used a third-party contractor as opposed to using BMW. This is a whole nother story, and I'm probably going to do a video on that, but I didn't, and that was mistake number one. Number two, in order to use the Comfort Access for the top, there's like a little, in the boot, there's like a little panel which you pull down, which kind of stores the hood in the panel. During the winter you obviously don't do that, so you open that, you close it up so you've got more space in the boot, and you can still lower the windows up and down, but you can't take the top down. Okay, now why is that relevant? Because over the winter at some stage the passenger side door, the Comfort Access, stopped working. So in other words, if you go to the car to try and open or unlock it, it won't open or unlock the car. Because it's winter, it's not a major big deal. Everything else seemed to be working. Actually, it seemed to be working because I didn't check everything, and that's another mistake. And this is what I would suggest: if you have anything that goes wrong with your car, check all the other functions as best you can. This is one thing I should have done. So at the same time, these other things could have gone wrong, but I can't prove it. So the most common fault on the 128s and the BMWs is that door handle goes faulty, and you can replace it. Okay, so I wasn't really worried. Everything else was working. I could do the Comfort Access from the driver's side door, no problem. I wasn't using the windows up and down because I only use that in summer. So the Comfort Access for the door handle isn't working, right? Okay, so then as it was starting to get warmer, the driver's side door went out, so couldn't open and unlock. So I did a few more bits and pieces of testing, and I found some things were working, some things weren't, and it's just messing me up. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at a little diagram which I've kind of drawn. The two door handles, okay, and you can't open the windows, okay, but you can close the windows, but you can open and close the windows with the top, which really weirds me out because it's almost like all the electronics are working, but whatever is talking, there must be a sensor in here which says, hey, the roof is up or down. Something in there is kind of not working properly. When you do the windows up or down, you hear a relay click in the doors. So something there is working, okay? Right. Now, let me get down to this one here. So this is the car. Now the Comfort Access, I've got a little diagram here. Let's come out a bit. So these are our various modules like the windows, the door handles, etc. Okay, so you've got those things. Okay, you've also got, like, at least I've drawn 4, but you've got at least, I think, 8 or 12 sensors. They all feed into what's called the Comfort Access module, the CA. Okay, and also you've got the start stop and all that kind of stuff. This is then managed by the CAS. So, are we saying the Comfort Access system is iffy? The talking between the CA and the CAS is iffy? We can reset all that stuff, but I really don't want to. One of the things I have done, just to prove a point, I pulled the battery and I left it for half an hour just to see if resetting it will help. That didn't do jack. Now, if we look at a car here, front of the car, back of the car, the Comfort Access module is here. it's basically in the trunk area, and that's not a good place to put it. If you've seen my other previous video on comfort on leaky convertible tops, both these areas fill up with water, and you've got a couple of drains here, and they kind of get messed up. The the CAS module is under the dashboard where the driver is. Okay, and then of course you've got all the other sensors. So that's kind of what I'm trying to show you. Now, why is it important I told you? Why is it important I told you about my window? Now, my window, front windscreen, had a crack. And instead of doing the right thing and taking it to BMW, I took it to a bunch of jokers. And I may actually put them in, I may actually shame them online in the description. So look for them, don't go to them, because they screwed my car up, screwed up my stuff when they were putting it in. First of all, you've got a rear view mirror which has got setting electronics in there, and they didn't connect it up, so that's number one. Then after driving it for a while, basically I've got a bad howling, and I've noticed it may actually be coming from the bottom of the car. Now why is this important? You've got another sensor here which looks after the comfort access. Okay, I've got my 407 GPS tracker there. I've got my dash cam there. I've actually pulled those out just in case that was causing a problem. Now, I think there may be a leak here. There's kind of supposed to be a seal here, and it's howling because this seal is not down properly. And I'll show you in another video. It looks like some of the sealing they didn't put on properly. The reason being, why is this an issue? This is the engine bay. Directly under here is the DME. These are all the junction, the DME, which is all the electronics in there. Okay, why is this important? If we go to here, this is a side view of the car. You've got the windscreen there, the DME. Directly under the DME is the fuse box, okay, on the passenger side. And next, plugged into it, something called a JBE, which is like the main, I think it's called a junction box electronics unit, but it takes all the stuff in there. Okay, now this is what I'm thinking, and I'm not sure, because it's really weird and wonderful. Either the CAS needs to be reset. Well, no, actually there's two things I think. Let's go back up to this diagram here. All these things are on what's called a bus. It's either K-CAN or another type of bus. I've forgotten off the top of my head, but it's on a bus. Okay, I was told while I was looking that if you have one of these which is faulty, which this was the original problem, right? Okay, and this only went after I did the windscreen. Okay, if this goes faulty, it can drag the bus down and it can cause other problems. So maybe this has had a knock-on effect to this. It's common for this to go or this to go, but not both of them to go at the same time, or literally within the space of a couple of, I would say probably 3 or 4 weeks. Very rare. Now, what I was thinking of doing, shall I tell you that now? No, okay. So that's one thing that could be a problem. Okay, so actually no, I will tell you. So one thing I could do to prove that this isn't taking a bus down is to disconnect take out the handle, so it's disconnected. You should take off all the other stuff, any fault or any issue on the line, and this should all work. Okay, if it does, then I know it's just this. But I don't want to just replace this, because this is expensive to replace. Okay, because it's also got to be coded. I believe it may have to be coded, but it's expensive. And just to replace this, and maybe it's this one, both of them. So before we start replacing parts, let's try and prove the fault. The other thing is, we can, as I said, reset the CAS, which looks after that. And I think and another thing is, I put my computer up onto the machine, onto the car, and there was no codes. Well, rather, I would say there's some bullshit codes. So it's saying this doesn't connect to this and this doesn't connect, and they're all working. So it's almost like it's gone haywire, right? Now, what I'm thinking maybe is a couple of things. Okay, we said that. There is a possibility that the comfort access module, which is in the wheel well, has got some water egress, because I know I had problems with water not draining. Has it drained into there and messed up the comfort access? So one thing I could do is pull the comfort access module, just check to see if everything is okay. Same thing with the CAS. I can pull the CAS just to see if anything's okay. Now, because so many things are messed up, or apparently messed up, I'm wondering, is it the JBE? Is it a fuse box? And the reason I'm thinking is because if there's a leak and water's going down into there, that's going to be a problem. You've also got the blower down there, and I know that was making a bit of a noise. So this is what I'm going to do, and the problem is because it's not very good weather to be messing around with your car. I'm going to, I've done these 3 things or 4 things already. Battery, fobs, pulled out anything which may be affecting it, okay? Resync the keys, and just by purely testing it using that method, sorry for the light, by testing it, you know that it's kind of working. I don't want to reset the CAS if I don't have to. I was speaking to one of my guys, Reclaimer, and he was saying resetting the modules is the last thing. So maybe if I've proved that's not working, I might need to reset the CAS. Or take it to BMW and get them to fault it, which is going to cost me an arm and a leg. But the next stage I'm going to do, I'm going to get the glove box out. I'm going to pull the JBE, and I'm going to see if there's any water stains or water egress. I could also, I think actually I'll do that next. And then, if I can, depending on what I see there or don't, I'm going to actually pull this cowling down. So really, this is kind of a bit of a weird video. It's a kind of diagnosing as we're going along, and I really hope this helps you guys. If anyone out there is seeing a glaring problem or something which I'm not actually seeing, please comment. You know, let me know. So this is the game plan over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to put this into like a playlist. So that what I'm going to do first of all is this. Check this out first of all. See what's happening there. Depending on what that comes back with, this is quite an easy one to do. So I'll pull this and then check that stuff there. Third, I'm debating whether to pull the comfort access module, because it's tucked away and you've got to take a lot of stuff out. So maybe I'll take the comfort access out. The other option also is to pull this door handle out, disconnect the electronics, but these are notorious for trying to put back in. So there's a lot of things happening here. So what I would say is wish me luck. If you've got any thoughts or hints or tips or something that I've not missed or I have missed, do let me know, because I really don't want to spend a lot of money. I may end up having to take it to BMW and getting them to diagnose it. It's going to cost me an arm and a leg. But to be honest, you know, some things you just need to, or a good independent. That's another thing I had thought about. But again, you don't know. At least with BMW, everything's kind of guaranteed. The work's guaranteed. So everything happens, and you've got a comeback. So, but it's going to cost me an arm and a leg. So this is part 1 of my video of, what am I going to call it now? Adrian's comfort access doesn't work properly. Alright then, so I'm going to call it a night. Sorry about this, I'm going to get a whiteboard. I think a whiteboard is quite good to kind of explain things if you can. So I'm going to get a whiteboard. This isn't very good, it's a bit messy. And also you can see the glare, which isn't very professional. You can see I'm wearing my Puma stuff here. Okay, so like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to, put your comments down there. Absolutely fine, and I shall catch you when I've done the next video, which is looking at the JBE and the fuse box to try and fix this out. Okay, take it easy, bye for now. I'm out of here like a thief tonight. God bless you. Bye for now.